Hey, what's up, family? Yo, I'm gonna do a car insurance one for you today. So this is gonna be dealing with vehicle insurance of any magnitude, but for your vehicle, your car. So we're gonna be touching on a multitude of different things about insurance. What made me think about this, because what really just pisses me off, how many times I'm talking about you, viewing audience, have you been on the road driving? You ever notice it's always those vehicles that their front bumper is all busted up with duct tape on it. They got busted windows, busted back window, the back bumper is messed up, and they driving around. You know what that is? Anytime you see a car driving around that look busted like that, they ain't got insurance. And if they do, at the bare minimum, they only got liability insurance. Therefore, liability is not gonna cover their loss and to get that vehicle fixed. This is something I've told my daughters many times before, many years ago. I remember they was impressed by one of our neighbors that lived around the corner from us because they had like 8 vehicles, right? I said, yo, they got 8 vehicles, but most of them in the driveway. I bet you they only got insurance on probably 1 or 2 of those vehicles. Those gonna be one of the vehicles that they drive often. All them other vehicles is for show, fronting. You know what I'm saying? That's the person that when they do drive one of them other vehicles, that be the person that ends up in court and you find out they had no insurance. That's the person when they have an accident and the police show up. And hey, remember, anytime you have an accident, folks, do not, by no means, do not fall for the nonsense of the other person that hit you. Say, hey, don't call the cops. I'll just pay out of my pocket. Don't call. I don't want to get the cops involved. You could trust me. Trust them nothing. Trust your instincts. Call the cops. Get a police report. Call your insurance provider. Don't fall for that nonsense, because you're going to find out. You're going to find out on the spot when that police show up. You're going to find out that person don't even have insurance. There's a high probability, because there's so many people out here driving with no insurance, especially that person with the wrecked car. Because think about it. Do you drive around your car with a busted window, with a busted bumper with duct tape on it? No. You call your insurance, you pay your deductible, and you go get your car fixed. So think about it. Think about it, folks. When you see those vehicles on the road, those are people who don't have insurance, and if they do, they got only liability. Where liability is a joke. Liability only basically say you pay an insurance company just to drive your vehicle. Think about it. Another thing I'm talking about with insurance, because I'm gonna touch a couple of things, but I'm gonna keep the video not too long, is look at almost all the time a lot of these people end up in court, right? And the judge say, sir, ma'am, did you have insurance the day of that accident? What is the most common thing you hear these people say? Because they heard it from somebody else, so now they copycat, because we live in a copycat world, right? What is the most common thing most people copycat? When a judge say, did you have insurance? The judge already know the answer. She's basically asking them a rhetorical question. She already know the answer. So she go, sir, ma'am, did you have insurance that day? You know what they always say? Oh, yes, I had insurance, but it lapsed. No. We're not going to play that game here. What do you mean? What do you mean? Did you have insurance or not? Remember, like I said, the judge already knows the answer. It's rhetorical. Did you have insurance the day of that accident? I see right now, today you're in court, you have insurance. But on the day of that accident, did you have insurance? Yes, Your Honor, I did, but it lapsed. Now, you ask the average person, what does the word lapse mean? Matter of fact, look at my wife. If I ask you, what does lapse mean? Why do people say that all the time?
Cancel? The insurance been canceled?
No. They look how they're using it. She says, did you have insurance that day of the accident? They said yes, but it lapsed. So they using it in a way by trying to say, yes, I had insurance, but I just was late on the payment. No. No, let me look up word of the day gonna be lapse. Now, if you look up the word lapse, you know what it literally means? A temporary loss in judgment, memory, or an error. That's what it means. But it also means gap. So let me replace it. Let me replace the exact word when they say this in court, right? They said, yes, I had insurance that day, but it lapsed. What they really meaning to say is, yes, I had insurance that day, but I had a gap in it before I renewed it. So therefore, if you had a gap, that means you had no insurance. If you're running over a bridge and there's a gap, you're gonna fall down. There's nothing there. So, but these foolish people always talking about, yeah, I had insurance, but it lapsed. I hate when people say it. No, you didn't have insurance. It was a gap in your insurance. That was a period where you didn't pay for it. You didn't have the money for it. So right here, you had insurance. Then you had no insurance. And then you had an accident. Then you went and paid for insurance. But right here, you had no insurance.
Yeah, but I have an opinion. I mean, I have an opinion, and I feel as if that thing is that if people have a brand new car, they should get full coverage so they can get brand. But there are people that can't afford car insurance. So what do? They
A lot of people riding around with no insurance. Beware of them. Don't fall for the nonsense talking about we can take care of this between us. Don't bull jump. Now, like she said, if you got a new car, you should have insurance. Absolutely. Let me tell you something. Unless you go into that car dealer paying absolutely 100% cash, you are not leaving that car dealership unless you can prove to them that you have full coverage. And they're going to dot all the I's and cross all the T's, meaning they're going to call your insurance company and get on the line with them, and they got to verify everything. If you're financing anything, you're not going to leave that lot until you can prove you got full coverage insurance. But we right back to the word lapse, right? Remember, like I said, lapse means a temporary failure in judgment and error or understanding, right? But it also means gap. So I had a gap in my insurance, meaning I didn't have. Remember the bridge. You got a bridge, then you got a gap that wasn't there, and then you got bridge again. So that's what gap means. But let's also talk about the word gap when dealing with insurance. How many of y'all about to buy a new car or did? And when you get ready to get it, them sales reps always try to con you with saying, do you want to get the gap insurance? Let me tell you something. You do not need gap insurance. You can get it if you want, but you don't need gap insurance. Let me give you a small, quick little thing about gap insurance. All gap insurance does is it's an additional insurance to your already insurance, which covers extra things. And it really don't. It's a scam. This is why. You could Google this. So let's just say you owe your vehicle's worth $20,000, but you got a $25,000 loan, right? What gap insurance does, gap insurance, your regular full coverage insurance. So when, let's say your car get totaled, if your car gets totaled, and you remember this is a full coverage, but this is the gap, the scam. Watch this. Here's the difference. If your car is worth $20,000, but you got a $25,000 loan, because this, you could Google this. So that means you still owe $25,000 on it, but you paid. I'm trying to make these numbers. I'm being confused here. So in other words, put this in a nutshell. What gap insurance does, they pay for the remaining gap that you owe on the insurance. So on the insurance, I meant to say the loan. They pay the extra gap. So both instances, gap insurance, regular insurance, full coverage insurance. Your full coverage insurance is going to pay your car off that it's worth, but you still owe an extra $5,000. So they're going to pay what it's worth and what it's worth only minus your deductible. Whereas gap insurance, they're going to pay the same thing, what it's worth minus your deductible plus the remainder of what you owe for the loan. But still, to me, that's a scam, because think about it. People may say, yeah, well, I still owe extra $5,000. They gave me the $20,000 what the car's worth, but I still owe $5,000. But guess what? You've been paying, with your regular insurance, you've been paying that every monthly anyway. Just like with the gap insurance, you paying that every month anyway. So don't fall for the bull jump and say, get gap insurance. It's another kind. You know how much of a kind it is? Watch this. Watch this. People that issue gap insurance, and I want you to pay close attention when I say this, they, like most people in this world, are professionals. They are professionals that go to school, they take courses, they take all type of classes on how to scam you out your money. They learn these tactics and they tell you these nifty, swifty little big words. That's why I give you a word of the day. Get your vocabulary out. And they tell you these big words and give you all these scenarios that make you go, I think I need that. I don't care if you getting a new car, you're getting a new addition to your house, you're getting a deck on your house, you're getting new type of equipment. People will come in your house because they are professionals. Remember what I'm telling you. They went to school, they got their degrees, they take classes and courses on how to scam you out your money. You don't need no doggone gap insurance. It's a con.
To take your money. That's what
Yeah.
it means.
But more importantly, back to the original statement I said, it pisses me off when I see these people driving around with their busted up cars. They're the ones that's driving the most reckless. And you be looking at these jokes like, how you driving around with duct tape on your car? I seen that guy like 3 months ago. He had the same duct tape on the car with the busted window, you know, or the busted bumper. Why ain't get it fixed? I can tell you why he ain't got it fixed, because he ain't got no insurance. And if you do got insurance, he got the bare minimum, which is liability. And liability covers nothing. Liability is just essentially you paying them just to say, here, you can drive your car, boy. Okay, there, boy? You get what I'm saying there, boy? You can drive your car there, boy. But we ain't gonna cover nothing. Hey, I can go all day, but yo, I just want to be short and simple. On that note, think about everything I just said with the insurance. And these jokers out here with these wrecked cars driving wild and crazy. You like, yo, joker. I remember this lady pulling in the parking lot. Remember pulling in the parking lot with this wide boat of a car. Damn near scratched up my truck. I said, yo, look at this. And this will be the lady. They ain't got no insurance and then scratch it, tear your car up, and then be like, oh, could we just take care of it between us? No, you don't want to go through some nonsense. That's gonna be the person saying it was a lapse in my insurance. No, it was no lapse. You didn't have insurance. And don't get that gap insurance. Because remember, lapse means temporary loss in memory, judgment, error, and it also means gap. But gap also don't get the gap insurance. Don't be scammed. Peace.